you can't just be like, okay, we've been doing this for 10 years, we're good. No, it's like you constantly need to like be pouring into your staff, into your doctors, because we're also in a profession where, you get burnt a lot, you get hit a lot. There's like so many challenges. Anything good and worthwhile in life, you're going to get challenged. And so, you have to make sure that you're pouring into these people that are, going out there and serving and taking care of your patients.
Hey, and welcome to a very special edition of the Dominate Healthcare podcast. Normally we are interviewing doctors, and something that a mentor of mine, Dr. Reggie Gold, said very many years ago was that if a doctor's seeing 1,000 a week, then the front desk, the people that manage the clinic, are seeing 2,000. They see them coming and going. I thought of this the other day, Lisa, when a new patient comes in, at the front, the management has got them on the phone, seeing them when they walk in the front desk, seeing them when they walk out. So while the doctor saw them once in the back for the exam, the front desk, the managers saw them 3 times. So I really
Yeah.
believe when it comes to healing the world and building practices and saving lives, the work you do as the office manager is actually exponentially, and that's measurable, exponentially greater than what the doctors are doing. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you for all you do. So just so everybody knows, this is Lisa Breen. So Lisa is the office manager and probably to some degree the life manager of Dr. Ray Omid. Now, Dr. Ray, just to kind of make sure everybody's aware of this, Dr. Ray has one of the largest clinics in our profession today, but he might be the most prolific chiropractor in practice history, just
Mm-hmm.
for all the different work he does all over the world and the kind of impact that he's having in his practice now with a lot of the types of events that Lisa, you run. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of one of the first questions I want to have for you is, so what's it like there? I mean, it's, we're going to go, of course, we got a seminar coming up. We're going to go visit you and Dr. Ray at your clinic as we're going to hold the seminar. What's it
Sure.
like in a place that is that filled with God, thousands of people coming through there a month, hundreds and hundreds of new patients, events all throughout the community, churches? What's it like?
So it's definitely a movement of God. It's definitely when you walk into our practice and you walk into the space, you feel the presence of God. That's what our patients tell us. We have, worship music playing nonstop, just continuously. And it's just a place that, people come to connect to God, obviously to get adjusted, to get their power turned on. But it's so much more than that. It's so much like it's a family. So it's very high paced, high volume, but it's filled with love, filled with joy, miracles. It's just an amazing place to be. The energy is healing. People just come and they sit in our seats and just stay for, sometimes longer than their appointment because they just want to feel that presence. They just want to be, connected to God, and being there makes that possible for them. So it's an amazing place to work, to be, to come to. Definitely blessed that I have that opportunity in my life to, be able to be there and serve so many people.
Awesome. Yeah. And you and your role, you're managing it, but you're doing a lot of different things. Share a little bit about your role there, because I know you have your hands in many things as you're leading that clinic.
Sure. So I do manage the staff, and I manage the patients. So a lot of training goes into your staff because you can't do everything. So you need a strong staff to be able to help you with everything that needs to be done. So a lot of making sure that your doctors are taken care of, making sure that your CAs are taken care of. But also on the other end, I do the marketing. So making sure that talks are booked, making sure that Dr. Ray's getting out there to speak. We do a dinner talk once a month. We do different church talks throughout the month, but just making sure that I'm constantly making contacts with people to get him in front of groups to speak. So a lot of the marketing, and then a lot of just running the office, running the a lot of the financial aspects of things, making sure the money's coming in, and just making sure that the atmosphere is good too. You need to really be present so that you can make sure that nothing is interfering with that presence of God coming through. So you have to be
Wow.
connected yourself in order to run a practice like that.
And that was actually my next question, because obviously to run, 1,000 a week, sometimes you'll have a couple hundred new patients coming through a month, so many things going on. And then of course, as you mentioned, we've got to keep it moving. So you can't have a big new patient month in January and then in February, zero. Like it's got to be
Mm-hmm.
another big new patient month.
Yep.
So you're balancing process there. So obviously your process, your procedure, clearly you're doing a lot of training and very focused on execution. But then there's also this piece of infusing into the team this spirit, the love
Yep.
for people, bringing God into that environment. So people literally walk and say, wow, when I walked in the door, I could feel God's presence here. So share a little bit about that. This is a little bit off the script. I didn't tell you in
Yeah.
advance I was going to ask this, but what's that look like between training on process, but also making sure we're effectively training to bring the staff to a level that an office like yours deserves?
Yeah, so Dr. Ray is really like the main person like for that. He's like he just pours so much into us. He pours so much into his staff. So I've been with him for over 16 years. So like I've been
Wow.
blessed to have him just pour into me for the last 16 years. And that's why I think I'm able to, to do what I do. It's really because of him. He has a love for what we do. He has a love for this profession and he has a love for people. So when you combine like all of that, he spends, we have weekly trainings every week, multiple times throughout the week that are just carved out. And that's what we do during those times. Nothing deviates from that. So for the last 16 years, I mean, that's what we've done. We've had meetings, weekly meetings as a team just to see what's working and talk about miracles and talk about everything that's going well in the practice. And then there's also time for training of like, okay, what were we hit with this week that challenged us, or what was something that a patient said to us that we didn't really know how to handle in that moment. So, it's Dr. Ray's really, his mind is just, he's so amazing in certain ways when it comes to just pouring into people, making sure that we start each day, each shift with prayer. That's like number one. You got to make sure that God is there. And it's a constant, you can't just be like, okay, we've been doing this for 10 years, we're good. No, it's like you constantly need to like be pouring into your staff, into your doctors, because we're also in a profession where, you get burnt a lot, you get hit a lot. There's like so many challenges. Anything good and worthwhile in life, you're going to get challenged. And so, you have to make sure that you're pouring into these people that are, going out there and serving and taking care of your patients. So, I give it all to Dr. Ray because he's amazing at that and doing that. He just, he's never gives up. He's just always, persistent, consistent in everything that he does. And it shows, it can show in the works of what happens at the end.
First of all, when you said you were with him for 16 years and you're still this inspired and committed, I think we just depressed a lot of chiropractors that are out there that can't keep their teams around very long. So hopefully they'll come to the event at your office to meet you and to see how Ray invests in his team and to keep getting feedback like this. The other thing I'll say is that you seem like you do this for a living. You are doing an amazing job explaining all of this. I can't wait to hear you train the other CAs at the event, because you're very good. I could tell you've been doing this for a while.
Thank
So I
you.
want to shift into what you guys are just exceptional at. Like when I said Dr. Ray's maybe the most prolific doctor in history, a lot of it really is because of you. When we had Dr. Ray a couple times, he speaks at all of our Christ-centered chiropractic events, and I've said, hey, talk about like how you get in to speak with pastors, or talk about
Hmm.
how you set up your dinners. So Dr. Ray, as you know, floats about 3 feet off the ground. And when he speaks, it was never really telling us how he did it or how he makes
Yeah.
any of this actually happen. But then finally we had you speak. And then we finally had something we could take away from the conversation relative to these two areas. So I want to reinforce for the people watching, when it comes to dinners, when it comes to the results of the dinners and the amount of times Dr. Ray is speaking in churches, nobody's done it as well as you guys have done it ever. And when I work with thousands and thousands of doctors, Dr. Ray, when he does a dinner, what's always amazing is there's maybe 50 people there, let's say, or 100, And out of
Mm-hmm.
50 people, he makes 125 new patient appointments. Nobody does
Yeah.
anything like that. Or out of 100
Yep.
people, he makes 150 new patient appointments. But you guys also have been able to consistently make this happen. So I know we'll get a lot more deeply into the detail at the event, but what are some of the things you're doing that's going to really impress a lot of the doctors who are
Sure.
listening or watching, that you, the office manager, not Dr. Ray or any of the other doctors, you're the one really making sure he's connected with the pastors and that these dinners
Mm-hmm.
are so consistent and executed so well.
Yes. So I'll start with the dinners. We do those once a month. We have one this Monday. I have 145 people confirmed.
Gosh,
So you do get
that's
a you do
crazy.
get a no-show rate. You do get a percentage that doesn't come, but I have a lot. Usually it ranges between 150 to 200 confirmed for the dinner, and it's all about just getting contacts, getting asking your patients. We all have patients, right? So asking them, who needs to hear this? Who do you know that needs to have their life saved? Who do you know that needs this? And it's a constant asking of them, because they know people that we don't know. So when you have a direct contact, it makes it so much easier. So we ask this at the end of all our doctor's reports. We ask this at our day 4 appointments. We ask this, at our progress reports. We're constantly just asking, who do you know? Who do you know that needs to hear this? And then they give you a name and a phone number. That's what we ask for. We have a lifesaver list. You get the name and the phone number, and then you call them. We have a whole script, and it's, you call them up. Hey, your friend Mary wanted me to call you. Oh, we have this amazing dinner coming up. She asked me to personally give you a call and invite you. It's, this Monday. You can come, you can bring up to 6 people with you. And while the food is prepared, you'll listen to an amazing doctor, Dr. Ray. He's going to speak all about getting healthy naturally, the way God intended us to live. And it's a wonderful evening, great food. Who do you want to bring? And it's constantly calling people. So sometimes I have to call somebody 4 times to actually get them to pick up. But it's that consistency. It's that never giving up. When you connect with why you're doing what you're doing, which is helping people and saving lives, it takes away from you. It's not about you anymore. It's about God and God's children, and it's about serving them, and that you have this information that they need. And so you'll do whatever it takes. And so it's a constant thing of, like, I'll call people sometimes 4 or 5 times until they actually answer. And then, you get them registered, and then they come to the dinner with friends. Everybody brings people. And then when they're actually at the dinner, they can bring people with them to the appointment. So that's how we're able to, like, have, 100 people there, but we make 200 appointments, because we're not just scheduling for them. We're scheduling for them and all their family and all their friends.
How are you getting that connection to the pastor? Just maybe real quick, and then we'll get into more
Yeah.
detail at the seminar. But obviously, I know he's always talking to pastors. What is it that you're saying?
Yeah. So when you actually get so you need to get the contact of the pastor, like their phone number is the best way to do it. And it's just letting them know that my name is Lisa. I'm calling from, Kingdom Health and Wellness, and the doctor here donates his time. He goes out into the community, spreads the message about building your health back naturally, getting well without drugs or surgery, the way God intended us to. And the doctor actually donates his time. He goes out into the community and he spreads this message. And so we would love to come into your church. We would love to offer this to your congregation members. It's completely free. So what I'll do is I'll set up a meeting with you and Dr. Ray for him to explain this a little bit more in person about how we can, help your church.
We'll get into that at the seminar, how you overcome all of that. But thank you so much again. You are amazing. Obviously, the work you guys do up there at the Omid Healing Center is just incredible. You guys really are changing the world. So for everybody watching, hopefully we'll see you up there at the Mountaintop Experience. Thanks again,
Thanks, Dr.
Lisa.
Ben. Yes, have a great day.
You too. Bless everyone, and remember who you are.